Hey, welcome to another fun and exciting explanation of molar mass. We're doing practice sheet number 1, question number 7 right now. And as we did lately, we're going to go ahead and name this compound. Now, the first thing that we have to do is we look at it. We look at the very first element. Yes, that is a metal, but is it type 1 or is it type 2? Now, how do we figure that out? Again, the easiest way to figure that out is to go into your packet and turn to the monoatomic ion sheet. So we know iron's right here, Fe's right there. So we're going to scroll down till we get to that sheet, and we'll see it here shortly. So here is that sheet right here, and iron is somewhere here in the blue. And what does the blue say? The blue says that it's a type 2. And if you remember, what we have to do with type 2 is we have to figure out what the Roman numeral is for type 2. So I'm going to just come over here, and I'm going to write down iron, and I'm going to put parentheses right there. And we're going to see what goes in those parentheses. Now we're going to do SO4. And I'm going to do that because I don't know what the charge of iron is, but I'm going to look at SO4. Now, how do we look at SO4? We go back to our packet, but this time we're going to scroll all the way down to the very last page. And once I get on the last page, we're going to find SO4, which is right here. So we know that it's sulfate. So that's the ending that we're going to put on there. But the charge is -2, so that's just important that as what we're talking about before as the name. So we know that it's going to be sulfate, but we know that the charge for this is going to be a -2. So how do I figure out what the charge of iron is over here? Well, the charge of iron is going to be found by finding the total charges and working the way back. Now, one of the things I did say is that here's the shortcut, if this number equals the subscript for this metal, then this subscript equals the charge for the metal. So it is +3. Now, one of the things to do, we're going to double check and make sure that we do this. Now, this is how we double check. A -2 times 3 is a -6. Now a plus, so I say, let me just go back. So this one has to be a +6. Okay, so my iron is a +6, this, and the reason they have to be equal but opposite is because they have to be stable. And if they cancel each other out, then they're stable, and we're not have to worry about that. So before we look at the 3, let's just say our +6 divided by 2 is +3. So there we go. We know that our charge is +3. So we're going to take this and put it in a Roman numeral and put it right in here. And so there is our name, iron 3 sulfate. Okay, so once we have the name, we can go ahead and calculate out the molar mass. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of these right here because we already did the name, and we're going to write down, where did it go? We're going to write down what we have, what elements we have. So we know that we have iron, and how many irons do we have? Well, we have 2 irons, so we're going to put a 2 there. Okay, then we're going to go down to our next element. We have sulfur, so we're going to put an S. Now, it looks like we only have 1, but remember, we have SO4 3 times, so I take whatever the subscript is here, multiply it by 3, so I'm going to have 3 sulfurs. Then we're going to go on to the next one. We have oxygen. So oxygen, again, it looks like we have 4, but I have 4 3 times, so I actually have 12 oxygens. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and multiply these by the atomic weight of each element. And where are we going to find the atomic weight? Well, we're going to go back to our periodic table. That's in your packet. We're going to scroll back up to the top, almost the very top, and we're going to figure out our periodic table. So here's our periodic table, and we know we did iron. So iron is 56. Okay. After the iron, we had sulfur, which is 32, and we had oxygen, which is 16. So let's make sure we have all the rest of them. So we had iron was 56, sulfur was 32, and oxygen was 16. So we're going to go ahead and calculate all of these on what the totals are. So I have 2 at 56, so that's going to be 112, but let's double check it with a calculator. So we have 56 plus 56 equals 112, or I can say 2 times 56 equals 112. So we're going to put 112 right here, and then we're going to do 32 times 3. So I'll pull that back over, and if I take 3 times 32 equals 96. And again, I think you could probably have done that without a calculator. Here's one that you might not have been able to do. So we're going to have 12 oxygens at 16 each. So we're going to go ahead and put in our 12 times 16, and that equals 192. So we're going to put 192. And again, as always, I like to kind of double check that again. So 12 times 16 equals 192. So we're going to go ahead and total these up, and that will be our molar mass. So I like to go ahead and get right in the word molar mass is going to equal, and it's going to be a total of all of these. So we're going to add them up. So once we add them up, we're going to say 112 plus 96 plus 192, and that's going to equal 400. So our molar mass is going to be 400 grams for iron 3 sulfate. So we're going to copy that, and we're going to put that at the end here, paste it. There is our molar mass. So all we have to do is basically highlight it in a different color. Again, I like green because it's nice and light, bright, shows out there, and we are done with that problem. So there we go. That's how we did molar mass from the practice sheet number 1, problem number 7. As always, go Mohawks. Nelson out.